My beloved child, don't skip this fictional relationship story, because tonight a truth hidden for so long is finally ready to come into the light. Stay until the very end, because what this person has been afraid to tell you could completely change the way you see your connection. Late at night, one person sits alone staring at their phone. They type a message, erase it, type it again, then lock the screen without sending anything. It isn't because they don't care. It isn't because they've forgotten you. It's because they're terrified that one honest conversation could change everything between you forever. For months they've been carrying something deep inside their heart. Every time they tried to tell you, fear stopped them. They worried you would misunderstand them. They worried you would walk away before hearing the whole truth. So instead of speaking honestly, they stayed silent, hoping time would somehow fix what words could not. Meanwhile, you began noticing the distance between you. Their silence made you question everything. You wondered if they had lost interest, if someone else had taken your place, or if the connection you once shared had simply faded away. Little did you know, the silence you feared was actually hiding emotions they didn't know how to express. One evening a mutual friend unknowingly says something that changes everything. You know, they've been blaming themselves for a long time. They still care, but they're afraid it's too late to tell you how they really feel. Those words refuse to leave your mind. For the first time, you stop seeing their silence as rejection and begin wondering if it was fear all along. That same night, the other person opens an old notebook filled with unsent letters. Every page carries the same message in different words. I never wanted to lose you. I just didn't know how to tell you what was really happening inside my heart. Tears fill their eyes as they realize they can't hide forever. As the clock strikes midnight, they take a deep breath, pick up the phone once again, and make a promise to themselves. Tomorrow, no more hiding. No more pretending. No more letting fear decide the future. Tomorrow, the truth will finally be spoken, and neither of you realizes that one honest conversation is about to change your connection forever. My beloved child, don't skip this fictional relationship story, because the moment you've been waiting for is finally here. The truth is no longer hiding, and what happens next will change everything. The next morning, they wake up with the same message still saved on their phone. This time, they don't delete it. They read it one last time, close their eyes, and press send. Their heart begins racing. Minutes feel like hours as they wait for a reply, wondering if they've already ruined everything. When your phone vibrates, you hesitate before opening the message. As you begin reading, your expression slowly changes. There are no excuses. No blame. Only honesty. They admit they were never trying to push you away. They were fighting battles they didn't know how to explain, and instead of asking for understanding, they chose silence. They write, every day I wanted to reach out, but I kept telling myself you deserved someone better. I convinced myself that walking away would hurt less than disappointing you. I was wrong. Reading those words, you finally understand that the distance between you was built by fear, not by a lack of love. You ask them to meet that evening. When they arrive, neither of you speaks at first. The silence feels different this time. It isn't cold. It isn't awkward. It's the silence of two hearts finally ready to stop pretending. After a long pause, they look into your eyes and quietly say, "There's still one truth I haven't told you. It's the only reason I've been afraid to let you get too close." Your heart begins to race because you can see tears in their eyes. Whatever they're about to reveal has been weighing on them for a very long time. Taking a deep breath, they finally begin telling the story they've hidden from everyone. A story that will make you see your entire connection in a completely different way. My beloved child, don't skip this fictional relationship story, because tonight the truth they've hidden for so long is finally about to be revealed. Stay until the very end, because this confession will change the way you see everything that happened between you. They lower their eyes and take a deep breath before speaking. The reason I kept pushing you away had nothing to do with you. I was afraid that if you knew what I was going through, you would see me differently. Their voice trembles as they continue. I thought protecting you meant keeping my struggles to myself. I didn't realize my silence was hurting you even more. You remain quiet, allowing them to finish. For the first time, they tell you about the pressure they had been carrying for months. Family responsibilities, personal disappointments, and the fear of not being enough slowly convinced them that they had to face everything alone. Instead of asking for support, they built walls around their heart. They look at you with tears in their eyes and whisper, "Every time you tried to get closer, I stepped back. Not because I wanted to lose you, but because I was scared you would leave once you saw how broken I felt inside." Your heart softens. Suddenly, so many confusing moments begin making sense. The unanswered messages. The sudden distance. The mixed signals. None of it came from a lack of care. It came from fear they never had the courage to explain. You quietly reply, "You never had to carry all of this by yourself. I wasn't asking for perfection. I only wanted honesty." Those words leave them speechless. They realize they spent months expecting rejection from someone who only wanted to understand them. For a long moment, neither of you speaks. Then they reach into their pocket and hand you a folded letter. "I wrote this months ago," they say softly. "I was too afraid to give it to you." You slowly unfold it, and before reading the first line, you notice tears falling onto the paper. The first sentence makes your heart stop. "There is one final truth I've never told you, and once you know it, you'll finally understand why meeting you changed my life forever." My beloved child, don't skip this fictional relationship story, because tonight the final pages of the letter are about to reveal the truth that has been hidden all this time. Stay until the very end, because this moment will change both of your hearts forever. With trembling hands, you continue reading the letter. It says, "The day I met you, I had already decided to stop believing in love. I had convinced myself that no one would ever understand me. Then you came into my life and slowly reminded me what kindness, patience, and genuine care looked like. That scared me more than losing you ever could." You look up, and they quietly nod. "I wasn't afraid of loving you," they whisper. "I was afraid of being loved. I didn't believe I deserved it." For the first time, you see the fear they had hidden behind every smile and every moment of silence. They continue, "Every time I pushed you away, I hoped you would stop trying, because I believed you deserved someone without so many fears. But every time you showed kindness, it became harder to walk away. I kept fighting my own heart. Tears fill your eyes as you finally understand that the distance between you was never created by a lack of love. It was created by self-doubt, fear, and wounds that had never healed. You gently take their hand and say, "I can't change your past, but I can promise that if we're going to move forward, we'll do it with honesty. No more guessing. No more silence. Whatever happens, we'll face it together." For the first time in months, they smile without pretending. The weight they've carried for so long finally begins to disappear. They realize that being honest didn't destroy the connection. It gave it a chance to become stronger. As the evening comes to an end, they quietly say, "There's one last thing I want to ask you, not for today, but for our future." You look at them, wondering what they are about to say. They smile gently and whisper, "If we choose this journey together, let's promise that fear will never again be louder than the truth." You nod with a smile. Neither of you realizes that this simple promise is about to become the foundation of a future more beautiful than either of you ever imagined. And that future begins with one final chapter. My beloved child, don't skip this fictional relationship story, because tonight everything changes. The fears that kept two hearts apart are finally fading, and a new chapter is about to begin. Stay until the very end, because the most beautiful part of this journey has not happened yet. The days that follow feel different. There are no long periods of silence anymore. Instead of hiding their feelings, both of you begin talking openly. Every conversation brings more understanding. Every smile feels more genuine. Slowly, the connection that once seemed broken begins to heal. One afternoon, they ask if you can meet them at the place where you first met. As you arrive, you notice they're already waiting, holding the same old letter that changed everything. They smile and say, "This letter carried my fears for months. Today, I don't need it anymore." Without hesitation, they fold it carefully and place it inside a small memory box. They look into your eyes and continue, "I finally understand something. Love doesn't ask us to be perfect. It asks us to be honest. I wasted so much time hiding the parts of myself I thought would make you leave, when those were the very parts you wanted to understand." Hearing those words, your heart feels lighter than it has in a long time. You realize this journey was never about finding someone without flaws. It was about finding someone willing to grow, to communicate, and to stay even when life became difficult. As the sun begins to set, you both walk slowly through the quiet park, talking about dreams that once felt impossible. This time, those dreams no longer feel out of reach because they are built on trust instead of assumptions. Before saying goodbye, they stop walking and softly ask, "Can we make one promise?" You smile and nod. They gently say, "No matter what challenges life brings, let's never let silence tell our story again. If something hurts, we'll talk. If we're afraid, we'll say it. If we're happy, we'll celebrate it together." You agree without hesitation. As you walk away that evening, both of you feel something neither of you has felt in a very long time. Peace. Not because every problem has disappeared, but because fear no longer controls the connection. And as the stars begin to fill the night sky, neither of you realizes that life is quietly preparing one final surprise, one that will prove this connection was never strengthened by perfect moments, but by the courage to choose honesty, forgiveness, and each other, every single day. My beloved child, don't skip this fictional relationship story, because this is the final chapter. Every question finds its answer, every fear loses its power, and every lesson becomes the foundation of a beautiful new beginning. Stay until the very end, because sometimes the greatest love story isn't about finding the perfect person, it's about two imperfect people choosing honesty every single day. A year passes. Looking back, both of you can hardly believe how close you came to losing each other because of silence. The conversations that once felt impossible have now become natural. Whenever something hurts, you talk. Whenever fear appears, you face it together. Little by little, trust grows stronger than it has ever been. One evening, you return to the same place where the truth was finally revealed. The old bench is still there. The trees sway gently in the evening breeze. As you sit together, they smile and say, "Do you remember how afraid I was to tell you the truth?" You smile back and quietly reply, "Yes, but I'm grateful you finally did." That truth didn't break us. It brought us closer. They gently take your hand and say, "I spent so much time believing my past would make me impossible to love. You showed me that real love doesn't run from honesty, it grows because of it." Tears fill both your eyes, not from sadness, but from gratitude. You realize every misunderstanding, every difficult conversation, and every challenge taught you how to build something stronger than either of you imagined. Months later, surrounded by your families and closest friends, you celebrate a joyful engagement. The room is filled with laughter, happy tears, and heartfelt blessings. Looking into each other's eyes, you make one simple promise. No matter what life brings, we will never let fear speak louder than love, and we will never let silence replace the truth. Everyone applauds as you embrace. Years later, your home is filled with warmth, laughter, and peace. Whenever life becomes difficult, you remember the lesson that changed everything. Love is not about never facing problems. It is about facing them together with honesty, patience, and respect. As the sun sets one evening, you look at the old letter that once carried so much fear. You smile, fold it one last time, and place it inside a memory box. This letter no longer reminds us of pain, you whisper. It reminds us of the day we chose courage instead of fear. Hand in hand, you step forward into the future with peaceful hearts, knowing the greatest truth was never the secret that was hidden. The greatest truth was that love becomes strongest when two people stop pretending, start communicating, forgive each other's imperfections, and choose each other again and again. And in this fictional story, the connection that almost ended became a lifelong journey filled with trust, hope, and happiness.